What it do? It's your boy O2, and you know I'm back at it doing the most, but I'm not playing Fortnite. This is a mental health episode, and you probably clicked on it because of the thumbnail and the title of the video. Anxiety and the disorders, man, like crazy, right? Welcome to the channel, guys. I appreciate you for joining me. I am touching on the topic of anxiety and specifically anxiety disorders. Now, some would like to disagree with me and be like, well, everybody has anxiety, and that is true to a point. Everybody has this natural, innate fear built in us that keeps us alive as a species, the fear of death. And if you're afraid, if you say you're not afraid of death, you're a liar. That's why religion exists, in my opinion. Yes, everybody has a sense of fear. That's what helps keeps us alive. To watch traffic on the road, to lock your doors at night. There's a natural fear, anxiety that comes with everybody. But does it affect your daily life? Does it Does it hinder your work performance and attendance? Does it hinder your social life? Does it affect your day-to-day like activities, your hobbies? Does it interfere with everything literally in your life that you would call your life? Your life, does it affect it? That determines whether or not you have an anxiety disorder. I'm gonna say that word so much I'm gonna get tongue-tied on it, so I'm apologizing in advance, guys. But we're gonna start with some statistics like I did in the bipolar episode. And this is not an exhaustive video. This is more of anxiety disorders in a nutshell. So I'm going to put that out there first, because if I don't elaborate or touch on something, please forgive me. And I'm going to share my own experience towards the end. So anxiety disorders, characterized by many symptoms, but I'm going to give you some statistics first, like I said. This was a 2019 study done by, I think, the Recovery Village site. So the credit goes to them for this study. It was the latest one I could find with a Google search. In the U.S. alone, 19.1% of Americans are affected by anxiety disorders. That accounts for over 40 million of the, 300 something million of Americans. And there's another statistic that goes with this, that they believe that science believes and studies suggest that 27.6 of those in need actually receive treatment and medical care. So there's likely a higher number than that out there who suffer from this. This even affects children. This is not, and I was affected as a child and not diagnosed until later in life. 7% of children ages 3 to 17 are affected annually. That is terrible. And a lot of it gets looked over, especially in religious households. They claim it's the work of the devil. You're not reading your Bible enough. You're not praying enough. All these excuses, these poor excuses, in my opinion. Anxiety disorders are not the work of a devil. That is ancient lore. I hope one day it gets proven to be mythological, like Zeus and all the other Greek gods and all the others from all around the world, that claim mythology. But regardless, we'll keep going. They estimate that it's the most common disorder in the world, accounting for 4% of the world's global population being affected by anxiety disorders. That means it affects their day-to-day life. Disorder just means something that's not in order. Anxiety isn't like a normal person's. The people that say, well, I have anxiety too. We all have anxiety. Like my dad, my brother says, we all have anxiety. But some of us, it affects tremendously more than others. That my brother still goes to work. My dad still goes to work. It affects me really bad. But, and I'm not trying to be selfish in saying any of this. Honestly, guys, it is terrible. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Unlike the hell that's promised to everybody in the Christian religion, that if you don't believe you're going to hell, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. This is not a religious thing. This is mental health. So females are more likely to be affected by anxiety disorders, probably because they're more likely to seek treatment, but I'm affected. Many males are affected. There's a stigma around men that we're supposed to be strong, we're supposed to be providers, we're supposed to be protectors, and these big, we don't show our feelings, we're tough. But I guarantee you, there's tons of men out there. I didn't even look up the stats for men. I apologize, men out there like me that suffer from anxiety disorders. Men also suffer though, but females are more likely according to studies. So we are going to get into the types of anxiety disorders and then the symptoms. Um, and then we'll go into some factors, which I could go into right now: societal and cultural factors of fitting in, of being a part of people, of life, because we're social animals, we're social creatures. Environmental factors: how was your home life growing up? Were you abused? Did you do anything before your brain was developed, especially the prefrontal cortex at the age of 26? Did something happen? Was there trauma in your life? I could definitely say yes for me. Um, but the types of anxiety disorders. So this is not a complete list, but this is a broad spectrum. It usually touches most of them. There's GAD, or general anxiety disorder. There's panic attack disorder with or without agoraphobia. We'll get into phobias in a second, guys. Social anxiety disorder. That's being around a bunch of people. And it can be around a certain particular sect of people, or it can be specific. Separation anxiety. Everybody knows about that one because of their dogs, right? But people can have it too. And then there's specific phobias, riding elevators. It could be anything from being in a car, from leaving the house. You name it, man. There are tons of phobias out there. This is a list of symptoms that people with anxiety disorders suffer from. And I do not believe it is the will of devils or demons or something. I think this is a physiological and a psychological um, experience, not necessarily a spiritual one. I'm not discrediting spirituality at all. It helps many people, but I'm gonna get into the symptoms, guys. Here is a few of them. This is exhaustive, but it is not limited to these, because I'm gonna name one that's not even on here that I had experienced at a younger age. So here it goes: intense, excessive, persistent worry and fear about everyday situations. Fast heart rate, rapid breathing, sweating, feeling tired, disoriented, feeling dread or impending doom, lightheadedness or dizziness, headaches, chest pains that can even mimic heart attacks. A lot of times I've been to the ER over a panic attack, think I'm having a heart attack, and they do an EKG and draw my blood, and they're like, "You're fine." It sure didn't feel like it. Loss of appetite, breathlessness, disorientation, tremors, tingling in extremities. Most of the times they say it's in the hands and arms, and that's very true, but it can even be down in your legs and feet. Um, Nausea, gastrointestinal problems, feeling like you're losing control. And that is not all of the symptoms. There's one when I had growing up, it felt like I was choking. It felt like my throat was swelling up. I also had a phobia of eating like shellfish and crustaceans, because one of my sisters is allergic to lobster or something. So I don't eat crustaceans very often, if at all. I've never eaten a shellfish. So I have some phobias myself. Um, Treatment out there, guys, is very important, because living with anxiety is like living with a gun to your head, almost like an invisible one. You're scared to death, man. Medication therapy. It is okay to be on medication. What's in the stigma about medication, man? I know a lot of people have abused medication in the past and have ruined the reputation of it, because it can help so many people, and it's actually helped improve my life at least a little bit, compared to back in my alcoholism days of drinking. Meditation is a treatment. It's where you lie down or sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing, and just be mindful. There's also, which goes into calming breathing exercises, grounding exercises, such as sensory, what you see, taste, smell, hear, and feel. exercises to kind of ground yourself around with your surroundings. I hope I'm making sense. Make sure to get enough sleep, man. Sleep is so important. We're still on the frontier of learning what sleep uh, does for us and what happens if we don't get enough of it. So it's very important to get enough sleep. If you're not, that's why I say go talk to a doctor about your insomnia. Exercise. I cannot stress this enough, and nobody wants to talk about it because they're like, "Oh, it's hard. I can't do it." Well, you choose your hard. Um, you do. Everybody chooses their hard. Exercise helps get a lot of that pent up energy out. It is not a cure all because I've exercised and ended up having a panic attack later that day. So it's not a one size fits all for everybody, but it does help get rid of some excess adrenaline and stuff. Healthy diet, man. That is so hard in the U.S. for us Americans, right? Everything on the side of it, you turn a box around, you'll see contains a bioengineered food ingredient. You're like, what the hell is this? They don't tell us. Um, the uh the food that we eat is garbage. If you're not eating stuff that grown from the ground and fresh fruits, vegetables, and meats and beans, nuts, stuff that's natural, you're probably eating the wrong things. I was told by a Vietnam vet, I will keep his name private for personal reasons or and privacy reasons. He had told me he had served in the Vietnam War. I sat with him with this company I worked for where I sat with people and helped elderly people. And he would talk with me about stories and stuff. And he told me, you could, he said, you know, the difference between, you could tell that, he said, you could differentiate excuse me. You could differentiate between the smell of an American dead body over in Vietnam and a Vietnamese dead body. And I asked how. He said the American dead body, it smells like garbage, while the Vietnamese just smell like another dead animal. Ain't that alarming? And that was decades ago, guys. So like, I guarantee we smell just as bad as, if not worse, dead. And that's because of what we consume. The term "you are what you eat" is a literal thing, man. Um, Therapy is so important. Go and not you're gonna have to find your therapist. You're gonna have to go therapist shopping because not every therapist is gonna fit you. Find one that fits your needs. There's online ones. BetterHelp is a good one to go to. If you got therapists in your town, find a therapist that works for you. You know you best, and find someone that can understand you best. Also, speak with someone you trust. That goes along with therapy, man. About your fears, your anxieties, your worries, man. Somebody that won't put you down or judge you or criticize you for it, and try to work with you with it and through it. Getting a hobby that will help calm you down, that or will at least help the anxiety. If there's something you can do to take your mind off of it, that's a great tool of treatment to use. Another little piece of advice is slow down, man. Don't try to do everything at once. I have found that when I try to do everything at once, I've got Fortnite content to create. I'm finishing editing a book that's about to come out in August, and I want to write another book. Just finished the painting, but like I've got to paint. There's work, of course. There's errands to run. There's a house to clean. There's bills to, it's, I get so there's fight, flight, and freeze. And I freeze a lot of times because I get so overwhelmed, guys. It is insane. So slow down, man. Life is not a competition. Life is so short. We don't realize it until it's too late when we lose people, man. Let's stop competing against one another, man. Money is not the answer to our problems. In fact, I think technology and money is actually causing more anxiety than anything. Bills and things getting more expensive, inflation and everything. I think it's terrible, man. And I hate for anybody that is going through anxiety to suffer any more than they do. So have some empathy, have some grace for people. Try to show understanding, and try to hear people out when they talk about their anxiety if they're willing to share and be open about it. Because I am. I grew up as a young kid with anxiety, man. I think the first time I remembered it, I mean, my parents had to throw me on the bus to kindergarten, and tell Bruce, my bus driver, to close the door. I was crying in a fit of tears. Uh, I was with my sister, but I was still in tears, man, because I was leaving home. I had that separation anxiety, but I would soon meet Miss Gray, my kindergarten teacher, and everything got better for a while until it didn't. Uh, I remember moving uh, down to Sinking Fork and moving to Sinking Fork School from Crofton, and my anxiety got real bad. I swallowed a gum one time, piece of gum. It was gum day for like 25 cents, and I swallowed it, and I thought my throat was closing up. But my first one that really just like rings in my head is the time we moved to a new church. Uh, I will keep the church's name private for privacy reasons and out of respect to the congregation there. But the music, they're real loud music. This was a real zealous church. It was a real hellfire and brimstone church. If you cussed, you smoked, you drank, you got tattoos, you were going to hell, you know. Yet they were a bunch of gossipers. I'm not here to judge, guys. Um, I don't get paid enough. It's above my pay grade. But the music when the music would start, I got immense anxiety because loud noise, I guess, bothered me, and being around people I didn't know. And so I remember this one time, man, my throat felt like it was literally like closing up. So I couldn't swallow, couldn't breathe. So I tap on my dad, and I used to tap on my dad and stand in his room in the middle of the night after I'd had nightmares or couldn't sleep. But this was a lot different, man. It felt like I was dying, and because this church teaches like Paul said, every man is appointed to die, and once death, then the judgment. That's scary as hell, man. Christianity is passive, subconscious fear mongering. In my opinion, we can agree to disagree. But I tapped on my dad that day, and he was like, always had his eyes closed during worship service with his hand up, and I was like, Dad, I feel like I'm choking. Like I don't feel good. Went to the back of the bathroom. He looked down my throat. Boy, you're fine, he said. Get back out in the service. So I got back out in the service. I obviously survived, guys. I'm still here, but I would go on through middle school having to get picked up from school. Now, I did have asthma, so I did have some asthma problems, and that kind of contributed more to my anxiety because I had to be rushed to the hospital, to the ER multiple times, and at school. But I hyperventilated in middle school. Miss Stoll, shout out Miss Stoll. I have to shout her out. She's still alive. Miss Stoll helped me, brought me up to the front. She always checked on me after that panic attack I had. I breathed in I was hyperventilating, so they put a paper bag over my face. My dad had to pick me up so many times. He ended up started saying, "You're not sick," but he didn't understand it at the time. My parents had finally come around to saying. My dad told me on the phone the other day because I was talking about a panic attack I recently had. He said, "I know the anxiety's real. The panic's real. I know it's real." See how evolution works, and all evolution seems like a dirty word these days, especially if you get around religious people. But evolution literally just means a gradual change over time. But I would soon go on to have more panic attacks and stuff uh, until I found alcohol. And alcohol, I thought was the cure all until it wasn't, man. It affects GABA. I believe GABA is a neurotransmitter. It is the chief inhibitory neurotransmitter of the brain that slows down the firing of neurons. So it slows down the messaging system in the brain. I think I was born GABA deficient. I believe I have a theory that everybody with anxiety disorders are GABA deficient, just like somebody would be magnesium deficient or zinc deficient. I believe you can be deficient in your neurotransmitters, which make up how our perception, how we think, bodily processes, and so much more than that, guys. So, and I still have anxiety to this day, but thankfully my doctor has heard me out, and I am on medication that helps me. Um, it's not perfect, but I don't drink anymore because of it. And I am thankful for science and medicine for helping therapy. I go to therapy regularly. I speak with my wife about it, man, extensively. You could ask her. She would nod her head if I turned the camera around. uh, that I'm constantly talking about it because it is a big issue in my life, and that's why it is a disorder. So I have grace on people, man. Peace and love. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Share it with somebody that's suffering from anxiety, man, or somebody you know that needs to hear this. Um, because I do, like I said, I do not think this is the work of the devil. I do not think I deserved anxiety attack at the age of 7. I think this is a physiological and psychological experience. I'm not discrediting spirituality, but I did not know what spirituality was at that age, and I was experiencing it. So that's why I say that, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you like this video, like I said, share, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, man. I mainly do Fortnite content and gaming content in general, but I've been promising to do mental health episodes every so often, and I will continue to do as so long as I live. Appreciate you for watching. You already know O2 does it most. I will see y'all later on Fortnite. Peace and love, guys. And remember to love everybody. I love you guys. Real talk.